airport. We're going to pick up a blue car, aren't we?
Another one to add to the collection of blue cars.
Can't have too many blue cars.
Apparently.
I'm flying to California this morning to go pick up a blue car, and you have to wait and see what that blue car is. Julie's very excited.
Yay.
Natasha is extremely excited too, aren't you? She doesn't care, she just likes going for a drive. Well, that's got to be the fastest trip through security ever. Julie dropped me off 2 minutes ago, and I'm already heading to the gate. Yeah, good sign for the day. It's a teeny tiny little plane today. Arrived in beautiful Burbank, just waiting for the car to appear. This is even more nuts than the other cars that I've bought online in auction. Those ones I had delivered. This one I'm picking up at the airport and then immediately driving all the way back to Scottsdale. It's about 500 miles in a car that I have no clue about the mechanical history. This is going to be fun. And there she is. One BMW M5 in Le Mans Blue. Well, here we are in my new to me BMW M5, which I have just picked up from the previous owner who lives in Simi Valley, California. And I'm driving this thing back. And I'm a little worried about the brakes. I got in and put my foot on the brake pedal and it went to the floor. What I'm also concerned about is having to fill this thing up with gas because it's just about empty. And we're in California. Gas is expensive in California. All I can say so far is this car looks amazing. It's in such good condition. It's 2001. It's got a salvage title, and nobody knows exactly why, but the previous owner thinks it was written off by an insurance company after being rear-ended on the passenger side a few years ago, 2016. That was when it received the salvage title. And at that time, these cars weren't worth what they are now, so probably the insurance company couldn't be bothered to have it repaired. So it's got a salvage title, which quite honestly I don't care about. I bought this car for me to drive, not to sell it on. So we will see. Keep tuned. I've got to find a gas station. Yikes! Gas is $6.46 a gallon here. It would only let me have $75 worth. Good news is I got 3 cents off a gallon. Okay, home, here we come. Literally just got onto the highway and we're doing 70 miles an hour. This car has a really bad vibration in it. This is going to be a very long drive back. Hopefully it's just a wheel balance. 72 and it's really uncomfortable. Well, I just stopped briefly in Indio. Still have 279 miles to go, but I have finally figured out how to get CarPlay to work on this. It's got an aftermarket stereo, which is really good, but it didn't hook up with my car for the first however many hours I've been driving. Anyway, I've had a pee break, got a coffee, had some lunch, and off we go. So far, car is doing just great. I don't want to risk saying anything, just in case it stops going great, but so far so good. don't want to tempt fate, but it's 120 degrees outside. We're climbing up through the mountains, and the car's running fine. Looks like the cooling system works well on this car. Nice change for my BMWs. I just stopped at Chiriaco Summit, which is part way between Indio and Blythe, because I wasn't entirely sure I was going to get to Blythe. Gas was $6.90 a gallon. Good grief. On we go. Well, that was interesting. Having just stopped for gas, when I pulled into the gas station, I noticed a guy walking with a 5-gallon jug of gas on his shoulder, looking very hot and sweaty. And I thought he was just walking to a couple of trucks that were parked just at the exit, but he wasn't. He broke it down 10 miles away, and he was attempting to walk there. Having got to the gas station, he was trying to go back 10 miles and was walking there, so I gave him a lift. Very nice Mexican gentleman who seemed very happy to have a ride in a nice BMW. That's my good deed for the day. One piece of good news, well, it's not good news to start with. There is definitely a wobble in one of the wheels. One of the wheels isn't balanced properly, and it kind of cuts in at around 65. I won't tell you at what speed that it's fine, but this car is very, very smooth once that wobble goes away. Top marks. Well, we're 400 miles into this trip, nearly home, another 50 or so miles to go. Sun's starting to go down, so now's the time to give my verdict on this car. And I think I really lucked out. It has performed flawlessly on this drive in very difficult conditions. It's been very, very hot. I've been watching the temperature on the onboard computer, and it never got above 91 degrees centigrade, which is just under 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It's amazing. Even when it was 120 degrees outside and we were climbing quite steeply for about 10 miles. I will admit that I did switch off the air conditioning for that period, because I was a little concerned. I didn't know how it was going to behave. I could see the oil temperature gauge was fluctuating just a little bit. Fortunately, it doesn't show up the oil temperature for some reason on the computer. Anyway, this car has been amazing. This car is very thirsty. It's used a lot of gas, but I don't think you buy these for their fuel economy. I can't really comment on how it is to drive, because I've been on the highway going dead straight most of the time. There are a few niggles on this car. The brakes are a major issue. They're dangerous, and I don't think it's as simple as air in the system. I think there's a problem with the brake master cylinder. I'll try the obvious. First of all, obviously I'll check the pads, I'll bleed the system, but I think it needs a master cylinder rebuild, which isn't the end of the world. It's pretty simple. There's a fairly nasty wobble between 65 and miles an hour. Again, easy to fix. And there's a few other things like that. I can't get the cruise control to work. That might be me. The light comes on the dash, but none of the controls work. So that might be just a relay or a fuse. I'm assuming that it's relatively easy to fix. But this car is so well put together. It is as solid as a rock. No rattles at all, even with the shaking coming from the wheel. There are no rattles in this car at all. And this was built when BMW really made solid cars, and it does not feel like a 21-year-old car. The inside is in amazing condition. The seats look brand new. I am wondering if they've been re-dyed, and they actually look a lot better in person than they did in the pictures. My Clown Shoe has the blue and black seats, but they're actually different to these. These ones have blue inserts in the middle and black on the outside. The Clown Shoe is the other way around, blue on the outside, black in the middle. But they look fabulous. This car is, it's great. Even though it's got a salvage title, it's obviously been looked after and babied, and it has 100,000 miles on the clock, so I think it's just about run in at this point. I really look forward to getting to know this car better, but what better way to be introduced to a car and to see how it is than to take it for a 450-mile road trip. It's been a really good day. Very happy with this. Next steps with this car are to get it titled and registered, and I don't think that's going to be too hard a process, but it does have to have, in Arizona or in Phoenix, what they call a level 3 inspection in order to title it because of its salvage title. And I believe I've been through that process before with one with my Westfield that I built. I had to have a level 3 inspection, and they just thought it was a really cool car. That was easy. And I also did it with a scooter that we didn't have any kind of paperwork for. So I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. And registering it once I get it titled will be straightforward. This car will be insured by our friends at Hagerty, so that won't cost a fortune. It's not going to be a daily driver, it's going to be an occasional use car. And I think the insurance worked out to somewhere around about $400 a year for an agreed value policy. And it was maybe a little more. I think it was $40 a month, so $480, between $400 and $500 a year for an agreed value policy. And that should be it. And I will be looking forward to addressing its little niggles and really getting to know this car. This car's got a great engine. It sounds good. It's very smooth, and it pulls like a train. I won't disclose how I know that it pulls like a train, because I've been on the highway the whole time, but what a mighty engine this car has. Hope you've enjoyed this road trip with me. If you have, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and by all means leave your comments below. Cheers. Well, here we are. We've arrived home, and having said how wonderful and flawlessly this car performed, only got half the headlights, and this side is pointing straight down at the floor. It failed just about 4 miles from home. Anyway, apart from that, great day. We'll sort that out tomorrow.